Hi, welcome to WiseCat. Well, today I've got kind of a special one planned because I get to introduce to you a project that is near and dear to my heart. It's the International Virtual Exchange Project. So the International Virtual Exchange Project is basically international virtual exchange is, it's what it sounds like. You go online and you basically exchange ideas, cultural knowledge, and everything like that with other people from all around the world. We do it in English, and it's a really good opportunity. Now, this video is going to be specially geared towards English teaching people out there who are teaching English as a second language or foreign language. So if you're looking for some way to give your students the opportunity to use English in a real life context as a lingua franca and actually have a real English language experience, this is for you. Okay, so let me shrink down and tell you all about it. Right, so here we have the International Virtual Exchange website. You just go to IVEProject.org and this is what you'll see. And basically the front page doesn't have all that much information on there because most of it is actually after you log in. That's where all the action happens. But if you want to know what it's about, you can actually have a little bit of a look at the basic information here. There's a button to click here to actually join the IVE project this year. That goes to a Microsoft form. And so that's how simple it is, actually. This thing is free to participate in. You don't actually have to pay for it because basically the more the merrier. More students from all around the world participating means that we have a richer exchange. So please, if you're thinking about it and worried about cost, don't. Just click and sign up. All right. Over here, we've got the IVE frequently asked questions, and inside here you'll see a whole bunch of information about what is the IVE project, does it cost anything, and, I say it's free of charge, but there's actually also... we're trying to find ways to actually make enough money to support the server costs and things like that at least. But, so if you do have funding and are happy to help out, we're not going to say no. Who runs it? The main lead is Eric Hagley, and he's the chair of AVHIA, and I'm actually, Adam Jenkins, I'm actually running the web server. And there are several other people around who are also doing different parts of it. Of course, we're doing it on Moodle and etc, etc. You can read all of the rest and you can see a list of all of the institutions in different areas of the world, different regions that have participated as you like. And there are even some videos there that former students made about the IVE project. So I really recommend you go in and check all that information out. Okay, so how do I get back? I want to get back. What happened to my title bar? I'm going to bring this title bar back, sorry. Alright, so if I want to go back home, yeah, there we go. So also, if you are interested in seeing what the students feel about it, there's also a section here on student voices. This is taken from the last exchange. We did a bit of a survey afterwards, and these are the things that students were saying about it. Of course, this was not part of the exchange itself, so some students decided to, for example, respond in their L1, and that's perfectly fine too. We're not going to complain about that sort of thing. But pretty much everybody's had a positive experience. They just had different reasons for having their positive experience. For some of them, it was just, English practice. It was a great opportunity. For others, it opened their eyes to the rest of the world and that there's an entire world out there. And so, yeah, different reasons why different people had different responses to it. We've also got the same sort of thing for teachers here, teacher voices. And if we look behind me, I'm going to disappear for a second. There's also this here, which is research on the IVE project. And if you click through here, you can see basically references for a whole bunch of different research projects. A lot of them by our project lead, Eric Hagley, on virtual exchange and COIL and stuff like that. So anyway, you know that I didn't bring y'all here just so that you can see the outside of the site. I'm actually pretty excited to show you what's inside the site. And so I'm going to show you a few different aspects from the last exchange. So here's our login page. You can log in using a standard username and password, or we actually do have OAuth for both Microsoft and Google enabled. So you have options. We also, my students and I, we actually use OAuth 2. Sorry, not OAuth. So we use LTI to log in, because I've got my own home Moodle, and so we just, on my courses, I just have a single, link that basically they click on and zip, gets them straight in. So it's pretty sweet. So here's the dashboard page, and the dashboard page actually has a few different forum, it has a special forum dashboard that actually tells students about the different types of engagement that they've done, what sort of, how many words they've written and stuff like that. Now, I am a teacher, so I'm not really a super participant, but there is a teachers forum, and I do, have posted a little bit to that. But basically, yeah, my dashboard looks like what a bad student's dashboard would look like after 8 weeks. In the first week, it's not too bad, but for week 8, if it looks like this, you'd say bad student, bad student. Anyway, the engagement level is an interesting metric here, and it's mentioned on the dashboard. But basically, what that is we want to measure interactions and see how well students can communicate with each other. So instead of measuring things like word count or something like that, which doesn't tell the whole story, we try to measure things like engagement, which is how many times do I respond to you and then you respond to me and then I respond to you and you respond to me. How many times did this go back and forth? And that is a type of metric we measure, and we call that the engagement level. And so you've got first engagement, second, third, and fourth, different versions. There's a maximum engagement level. How many times did we have a back and forth at the maximum, and an average engagement level, which is probably your best indicator of how deep the interactions have been. So students can also see this on their own dashboard and keep track of it. Teachers also can see bits and pieces of this, and there's a forum report and things like that as well. So it is a lot of interesting data that's not actually in stock Moodle. These are third-party plugins that we had developed. Okay, so if we have a look at the actual course itself, I've already got it opened up on a new tab, so I'll just use that. First, there's a welcome. There's the forum report there, and there's a teachers forum where the teachers can actually talk to other teachers, and there's surveys, a couple of surveys around because the former one just ended. But the main thing, okay, let's have a look at the main shebang. What is the main shebang? The main part is forums, and so if we look at one of these forums, the open forum, students basically can come in and they can categorize what they're talking about. So if they're talking about food, they can click on the food theme. If they're talking about free time, games, travel, sports, movies and TV, if they just want to introduce themselves, there's a special category just for that. But they can choose a category and they can talk about whatever they want. So for example here, and by the way, I've got the names wiped out because, privacy. But here, let's have a look at this one. This one looks like an interesting one. The best song of all time. Can you guess what that song might be? Oh, of course. Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up. That is the best song of all time. Fight me. All right. Anyway, this is one of the the forums that people can actually choose back. We also have this wonderful thing here. This is the React forum plugin, and so you can actually add reactions as well. I might actually do more videos in the future about how to install these things because I've been asked sometimes. But yeah, so you can see that other people have responded to my best video of all time stuff, and they, the conversation keeps going. We're adding multimedia and stuff like that as well, so it's not just a dry text-based interaction. It is very, very rich. And so, I mean, just this might seem like a silly joke or something, but the concept of a Rickroll is a cultural phenomenon, and it's something that, hey, if you're interested in foreign culture, this might be one aspect that could be of interest, right? If of dubious value, but I think this is what makes life worth living, this sort of stuff. I love to laugh, so... Anyway, if we go back to the thing, so there are a lot of, the main course page, a lot of sort of different types of forums and group forums. There's group communication in real time we had set up. We didn't really use the big blue button that much this past exchange, but we often do. Because big blue button, open source, yay. But we have actually used Microsoft Teams and Zoom and things like that as well, so we confess. Not keeping it all open source, unfortunately. I prefer the big blue button. Of course I do. But anyway, we've got the focused groups as well. This is an interesting one where students can actually choose to join groups. And when they join groups, they can join limited number of groups. So you can only have, say, 3 people from each country can join this group. And then you've got the small, close-knit group of people who have self-selected, self-opted to go into that group and talk about a certain topic. And so the small groups can actually have more in-depth conversations. So we're, conscious of the idea that if we've got, say, 5,000 or 6,000 people all talking in the open forum, conversations might not get so deep. So we give the opportunity to actually do that here as well. If you're worried about your students' level, then don't, because most of the students that we would have are probably pre-intermediate. There are a lot of people, because this is mostly non-native speaker to non-native speaker. We don't have first language countries participating, really. So everybody's got their strengths and weaknesses in the language, and so. If somebody's super advanced or intermediate to advanced, then they have a special forum where they can go in and stretch their legs a bit. But it's welcoming and open to anyone, many people of all levels, of all creeds. It's very open and available. And that's one of the things that I really love about this project, because I'm in Japan. I got a whole bunch of people who don't have the opportunity to travel overseas very often and speak English. And so I give them the opportunity here to interact in the language. So that's a really good way to do that. Okay, there are 2 or 3 more things that I'd like to show, and that is the side quests. So it's not all about forums, although the forums are perhaps the main part. That's the main thing that we want to drive, is get people to interact in the forums, share ideas and knowledge and things like that, and actually use language to a large degree. But in order to do that, for example, students need to have something to talk about. If you put 2 students in a room, you just say, okay, talk. It might go well, it might not. It depends on the personalities, I guess. But having something to talk about is where the side quests come in. So the side quests are not actually, officially mandated to the students, hey, you should do this, you must do this, or something like that. It's not an accessible criteria or something like that. It is just we put in the art gallery so that students can post their own artworks. And some of them post artworks that they found and just liked and stuff like that, but they can add artworks, most of it's photos or drawings or paintings or something that they've done. And so basically we're saying become an internationally renowned artist, because hey, if you post to this art gallery and people from all over the world internationally then know your artwork, you are by definition an internationally renowned artist. So this one here was added by yours truly. So you can see that this has made me an internationally renowned artist. How about that? Yeah. So anyway, this is a place where students can share their artworks, and then that's a thing for a way to foster conversations, to talk about it. People might ask me, hey, where did you find this house? How long do you think it's been abandoned for? What kind of people do you think lived here before it got overgrown with plants and things like that? Why do you think they left? You know, there are stories behind these artworks and things like that we can use. And when we use them in the forums, we actually make use of the database linking. So the title here, When We're Gone, if you just type that in somewhere else, it will link like this, because that's a cool feature of Moodle, is having the database filter enabled and things like that. So that allows you to do that. Now, similarly, another one of the side quests is the recipe book, and this one I'm particularly proud of. I love this recipe book because I love to eat, and I love having different tastes from all around the world. And just look at this; these are all supplied by students. All of these recipes from different countries in the world. Oh yeah, I mean this is the stuff, right? So lots of I think I'm seeing a lot of Brazilian, Colombian ones at the moment. Let's just have a look at the first one. This one also, our supreme leader Eric has posted this one. It's caramel mud cake. I mean, yeah, as the first one to add, I think he mainly added it as a test run, but oh yeah, this is, you guys should make this, by all means, take a screenshot, make that cake, because that cake is delicious. Oh yeah. So, anyway, that's basically it for what I'm trying to show here. We have other things to incentivize, gamify it, and things like that. I mean, the side quest is gamification of a sort. We also have, when you complete the art gallery, you become an internationally renowned artist, so we give you a badge for that. There's another one. There are other ones here. Questions about your region. You make a question. You add a question about your region to the database, and then you become the quiz master. And if you complete the quizzes other students have made about different countries, you can get the Colombia badge, or the Japan badge, or the Mexico badge, or something. These side quest quizzes, for example, are, if we go to the Mexico one here, it says, do you have what it takes to earn the Mexico badge? Try the quiz and find out. And if you get stuck, we don't have a time limit on these quizzes. So we recommend that students don't Google it, but instead they go to the forums and ask someone about it. In this way we're encouraging students to talk to each other about the information about the different cultures and countries and things like that, rather than looking at for answers on Google or something, which is very lonely and solitary and stuff like that. So this is really intended to encourage conversations, and we saw that in the forums. People were actually talking about it. Okay, last thing I'm going to show you before we actually wrap up this video. Student generated survey. Now this is the brainchild of Andy Andrew, who's one of the guys running it. I'm blanking on his last name right now. How embarrassing. Okay, wait. I'm gonna go back to home. He's mentioned in the FAQ part, right? So who runs it? Go here. Andy, come on, what's your last name? Sorry, buddy. Johnson. Andrew Johnson. That's him. Yeah, so he's up in Hokkaido. He's an awesome guy and makes really good stuff like the student-generated survey. Now, this is beautiful, because what happens is students want to know about different things about people from around the world. So we get the students to submit questions for the student-generated survey. Questions, survey-type questions that you can ask other people about, whatever you like, actually. What question do you want to throw out there to the world and have the world talk about? This is, really quite an awesome thing, and a massive undertaking, because he collects the responses in the questionnaire survey, and he makes all pretty graphs and things like that about it. So this one here, these are the summary graphs from the last project. And so things like, did you smile in the last 24 hours? There's some interesting questions in there. What is your blood type? Don't know. Yeah, a lot of people probably don't. But you can see the similarities and differences between different cultures based on these questions. And these questions are all made by students. Their students are in control. They're totally in control. They throw in the questions, and then we can ask each other these questions and find out what similarities and differences we have around the world. How cool is that? Right? And also, he also does this. This is sort of a side of that, sort of a primer, I guess, for that, is that he does the question of the week. This just uses the choice module, and each week there's a new question, and you can see the different people from different countries. So people in Colombia, how often do they get, oh, okay, the max is once every 3 weeks or less, 3 to 6 weeks. So lots of people get their haircut really frequently, and other people far less frequently. Okay, so that's Colombia for you. What about, I don't know, people from Indonesia? How do they fare? Ooh, pretty similar. You got 2 to 3 months people, and you got 3 weeks or less. Okay. What about Japan, where I am at? Ooh, not many people getting haircuts very often at all. I guess people love having long hair here. I don't know. Or their hair just grows really, really slowly. Okay. That is a surprising result. And that's what it's all about. Getting the results that maybe, are what you think they are, or are they not what you think it's going to be. And then you can go to the forums and talk about that. And ask people, what do you think about that result? It's all part of the IVE project. So I'm going to finish it up there, but I'm going to leave a link in the description below to the IVE project, to this website where you can actually come and check out those FAQs and everything like that. If you're on the top page, even logged out, you can actually see the stuff behind me now, and you can sign up for it as well. So the next exchange is actually going to start on October 7th, it's planned, and it's going to be basically October, November. They run for 8 weeks at a time, and so if you're interested in getting your students into a internationally an opportunity to, without even leaving their own country, to have a very international experience, please join us. We've got a lot of people from Japan and a lot of people from Colombia participating, but some of the other countries are very underrepresented. We got some people from Spain, but not enough. And I know there are a lot of Spanish people out there in Moodle land, so come on in, join us, and it's a really awesome project, and your students are going to get a really big kick out of it, because I've had students of mine who basically have gone on to, so they've made some really lasting friendships as well, where they kept in contact with people from the exchange well and truly after the exchange had ended. And, these are blossoming international friendships, which motivate students to learn more about, English and about each other and about the world and things like that. We should nominate Eric Hagley for the Nobel Peace Prize or something, because this is the stuff that makes peace happen. It's awesome. So, please, there's the link right there. Come to the page, click on that link, sign up for the next exchange, and look forward to seeing you there. Okay. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe as well, by the way. Don't just click there. Also click on that subscribe button. Thank you very much, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.